Alright guys, your central question is how do we solve equations with rational exponents? Alright, let's say I give you the following equation. Your variable is r. Notice that r plus 4 is in parentheses and it's raised to the 3/4 power. Notice that this is a rational exponent because it's a fraction and it has been isolated. So what we're going to do is to eliminate this rational exponent, we're going to raise that to its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3 over 4 will be 4 over 3. So we do that to both sides. The reciprocal and its power are going to cross out and give me 1, power of 1. So that just leaves me r plus 4. And using my calculator, 27 to the 4/3 power would give me 81. To solve this for r, I subtract 4, and that gives me my answer of 77 is equal to r. Alright, for the next one, notice that my variable is x. It is raised to the 3/2 power, but there are no parentheses, so I need to isolate the variable. So I'm going to subtract 3, and so that will give me negative 5x to the 3/2 equals negative 3,645. And then I'm going to divide by negative 5, because again, there are no parentheses, so I need to isolate that variable. So I'm going to take negative 3,645 and divide it by negative 5, and that gives me a positive 729. And now that I've got the variable isolated, now I can raise it to its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3 over 2 would be 2 over 3. The reciprocal and its power cross out, so that leaves me x. And 729 to the 2/3 power is 81. And that will be my answer for that problem. Alright, for the next one, notice that my variable is z, and there are no parentheses, so I need to isolate the variable. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide by 2. So that will leave me v to the 5/3 power equals 486 divided by 2, which would be 243. Now that the variable is isolated, I can raise it to its reciprocal power. So the reciprocal of 5 over 3 would be 3 over 5. The power and its reciprocal cross out, and so I have 243 raised to the 3 over 5 power, and that gives me 27. Alright, for the next one, notice that my variable is x. There are no parentheses, so I need to isolate my variable. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 1, and that gives me negative 2,500 is equal to negative 4x to the 4/3. The next thing I'm going to do is divide by negative 4. And so a negative 2,500 divided by a negative 4 would give me 625. So I get 625 is equal to x to the 4/3. Now my variable is isolated, so I can raise it to its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 4 over 3 will be 3 over 4. The reciprocal and its power cross out, and so 625 to the 3 over 4 power ends up being 125. For the next one, I do have parentheses, so I need to isolate the parentheses. So to do that, I'm going to add 7 first, and that gives me r plus 9 to the 5 over 4 equals 236 plus 7. That gives me 243. Now that my parentheses are isolated, I can raise this to its reciprocal power, which will be 4 over 5. The reciprocal and its power cross out, and that leaves me r plus 9. And so 243 to the 4 over 5 power is 81. And then subtract 9, and that gives me a final answer of 72.
Hello?
Alright, let's take a look at the next one. Alright, this one
No,
says that
you
your
gotta go
variables...
into that building.
Alright, so notice that you do have parentheses, so the first thing I need to do is get rid of those parentheses. So to do so, I'm going to raise this to its reciprocal power, which would be 3 over 5. Alright, the reciprocal and its power cross out. That leaves me 5v, and then 3,125 to the 3 over 5 power is 125. And then to solve this for v, divide by 5, and that gives me my answer of 25. Alright, for the next one, notice that my variable is x. they're in parentheses. I need to get rid of those parentheses, so raise it to the reciprocal power, so 2/3. The reciprocal and its power cross out. That leaves me 81x, and 729 to the 2/3 power is 81, and then to solve for x, divide by 81, so that gives me an answer of 1. Alright, notice there are no parentheses, but my variable is p, so I need to isolate it, so I'm going to subtract 4 first. That'll give me 2p to the 3/2 power equals 54. Divide by 2 next, so that gives me p to the 3/2 power equals 27. Now that my variable is isolated, now I can raise it to the reciprocal. The reciprocal and its power cross out, so that leaves me 27 to the 2/3, which would be 9. Alright, for the last one, I have x plus 11 raised to the 2/3. Notice that x is my variable. It's raised to the 2/3 power. It's in parentheses. First thing I need to do is get rid of those parentheses, so raise it to its reciprocal. The reciprocal and its power cross out. That leaves me x plus 11. 9 to the 3/2 power is 27. Solve this for x by subtracting 11. That gives me 16 as my answer. Alright, that's it for today.